Hey guys, I'm Bex.
And I'm Grace.
And we're the Packer Sisters.
Tune in each week with us as we process through everyday topics and personal experiences. Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining us for our very first episode of our podcast, GeneSIS.
GeneSIS.
Emphasis.
Because we're sisters.
Because we're sisters.
As we all are kind of stuck inside, as you all know, we were kind of inspired to find a creative outlet for ourselves just to have conversation. It sounds like each week we're gonna start putting together a new podcast about topics that have really shaped our life experiences. That could include things like gender, faith, family, friends, education, and more, of course.
So I'm sure those of you who are actually listening and are asking, why in the world are they named GeneSIS?
The word Genesis itself means to come into being. That not only speaks to just our personal growth process in our lives, but it also kind of discusses our roots in faith. So it pays a little tribute to that from our past as well.
And of course, the fact that we're sisters, we wanted to find a little wordplay. You'll learn that we're a little bit dorky, and so you'll probably catch lots of puns and wordplays in the things that we talk about as you listen in.
Yeah, it's definitely punny. Probably have a lot of those. So
yeah, Bex is the queen of puns, so just keep an eye out on her.
Oh no! Just because you said that now, I'm gonna try to not do any puns.
I'm sure this will be fun for all of you guys listening, just because we're gonna learn things about each other we probably don't even know.
Probably, but also just since you guys don't know us, hopefully you'll kind of get a feel for who we are.
Well, tough question. What is your favorite color? Obviously, if you've ever walked into my house, you would know it is Tiffany blue. Just gotta love that color.
Yeah.
Go into my work office, everything is Tiffany blue, including my Keurig, which right now I can't use because it's at my work office and not at home.
I didn't even know your Keurig was that color.
It is, and it's fantastic.
It's better because it calms me as I stare at it.
It does. It really does. You never know until you actually have that.
Tiffany blue is such a calming color. I guess I just think of like the spa or like the beach or something.
Yes, yeah. It's true. It does ease the mind. It's wonderful. Favorite movie? This is a tough one. I realized that my movie taste is very basic. So it came down to two, but I have to say the one that I can watch over and over and over again and feel like I can't get tired of these days is Mamma Mia. I just love the ABBA music. And
I mean, who doesn't like ABBA,
Right?
They're
and
the
Meryl
crazy
Streep,
people.
Like
Meryl Streep.
It's amazing. And then, of course, the best snack to eat while you watch Mamma Mia, it's got to be either gummy bears or gummy worms. I don't really discriminate between the two. As long as it's like a gummy, we're good.
Any other favorite movies you want to throw in? No? Okay. Just checking. Just one. That's good. You're sticking to it. Mm-hmm. I cannot pick a favorite thing for the life of me, so...
Yeah, you have a list of everything.
So, one thing about me that the audience should probably know is I have a very hard time making up my mind on things. Like if someone asks me, where do I want to go for dinner? I usually just am like, I don't care. As long as there's food I can eat, I'm down. So just anything in life, I'm just like, whatever. I'm cool with anything. So this was kind of hard for me to make a list. But That's what most of our show is about today. So you guys will find out later what I'm talking about. But I'd say some of my favorite colors, like maybe top 3 for me. I'm really getting into deep teal right now. Like my bed is a deep gem tone teal. I just love it. It's so
Nice
like,
color.
yeah, it's like warm even though it's blue.
It's warm even though it's cool.
Yeah. It's like a weird mixture. It's like if you put fire and water together, you just get a steamy mess. Like that's basically what it feels like. But I just love it. I also really like olive green. Any grade color I actually really enjoy.
The muted.
Yeah, muted tones, and orange is still a really fun color. Not my top color anymore. I used to love orange a lot,
All the
but
time.
yeah, not my top color right now. Favorite movie?
Here's
Okay.
the list.
So this one was extremely difficult because I'm a film major. I've
You were a
watched,
film major. You
oh
were.
geez. Wow, don't make this a reality for me, Grace. Like I I'm not old or anything.
You are.
So I studied film, studied film.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. In college. Definitely some of my top films that I've ever seen. I loved the film Ladies in Black. I also really like the Grand Budapest Hotel. That's always been a favorite of mine. And Howl's Moving Castle. I love, yeah, yeah, Ghibli. I
Whatever it is.
I've heard it pronounced differently from almost everyone I know. So that studio, Howl's Moving Castle, that's a good one. Favorite snack, definitely popcorn, and I can decide on that one because
How do you
popcorn's amazing.
make popcorn? What's your favorite way to make it?
So recently, my most favorite way to make popcorn is to cook it on the stove.
Mm-hmm.
So all you need is, you don't need a big pot, just a medium-sized pot. You put some olive oil in it. You put 2 test kernels in it.
Ooh, 2.
Yeah, and then I turn my heat up to about 6. You wait till the test kernels pop to know it's hot enough. And then you put in like a 1/3 cup of kernels. Keep the lid on it, of course, the whole time you want the lid on it because there's oil in there. Once it starts popping, give it some shakes and keep shaking it until it stops popping. Put it in a bowl, add some salt, and voila, your perfect quarantine snack.
Healthy but flavorful.
Sort of healthy, depending how much oil and salt you use.
I'm surprised you don't put butter on yours. Is it because the oil puts flavor?
Yeah. So I also have this really fancy oil that our parents gave us. I think it's like basil infused olive oil. And oh
Fancy.
man, yeah, that made some real good popcorn. And I said made because I used it all.
Why don't we take a second to just play a round of a would you rather and hear a little bit more about your perspectives on strange life circumstances.
Oh, sure. I have a great question for you, Grace. Are you ready?
Oh dear.
Okay. Would you rather be compelled to high five everyone you meet or be compelled to give wedgies to anyone in a green shirt?
Oh my gosh. Definitely high five everyone because nobody likes a wedgie. And I would feel so bad for people in green. I feel like I'd be discriminating against the color that they're wearing.
Well, like, I'm realizing this question just is not quarantine friendly. So, like,
It's not.
we need to talk to our script writer about that.
So would you rather have to fart loudly every time you have a serious conversation or have to burp after every kiss? Obviously, kiss with your husband.
Yeah, so I have to be honest. I have deep thought sessions sometimes. I was in bed this morning and I woke up at like 8 a.m. and I was just staring at the ceiling thinking about life and just thinking deeply about things. And I was thinking about this question. I was like, really though, what would I do? Like, would I rather fart or burp? And then I started thinking like deeper and I was like, well, if it's a fart, like how loud is loudly? Because that's pretty is that subjective, right? Like it depends on what loud is to you.
It does.
But at the same time, would I rather like stink all day, or would I rather like kiss my husband and then go like, oh, excuse me, I think I'd rather burp, you know.
Is your husband okay with that?
I mean, he burps after every time we kiss, so he better be okay with it.
The two of you can do it together.
Yeah, it'll be like our little tradition. You know, after every kiss, we'll burp and we'll like nod to each other, like some weird ceremony. I don't know.
Oh, yes. It could be a ceremonial little ritual you all do.
Yeah, I bet people would think we were really strange, but you know, we already are, so that's okay.
It's okay. It's okay to be strange.
Yeah. Would you rather every shirt you wear be kind of itchy, or only be able to use one-ply toilet paper? And just
no.
Yeah, just so you know, one-ply toilet paper, like, let's just say the most uncomfortable toilet paper you've ever used.
Oh, geez. You know, I actually worked on finding these questions. I didn't actually really like put any thought into them, but just thought they sounded interesting. So I didn't really think this one. Would I rather be scratching myself and just feeling uncomfortable all day? Probably not. I feel like I would more likely use one-ply toilet paper because I feel like it's either spend 24 hours a day itchy or the however many minutes a day using one-ply uncomfortable toilet paper on your bottom. So I'd much rather sacrifice my bottom than feel uncomfortable all day.
Yeah, I mean, you could just use your hand sometimes.
Get a bidet.
Oh, yes, get a bidet. With a heated seat?
No.
Okay, wait. This little anecdote here. I went to I think it was a Japanese restaurant in Portland. This was last summer, guys. Don't worry. Not like breaking quarantine here. But I went there and I went into the bathroom because I really had to go, and I had no idea how to use the toilet because it was so high tech. Like, it didn't have a flush button. But like it had the normal seat and it had like little arms, like on the airport chairs or whatever. You know what I'm talking about. So like I felt like I was literally sitting on a throne.
So weird.
Except my butt was getting nice and warm while I was sitting there because it had a seat warmer. And then I like didn't know what any of the buttons did, so of course I started messing around with it, and I got a nice surprise with some of them. You probably shouldn't have taken a sip of your water right then, Grace, but hey.
Oh man.
So anyways, yes, bidets are a grand old time. Especially in these trying times. If you're having a hard time getting toilet paper, just get a bidet.
Just consider we found out that you can get them at like Home Depot or something and just attach it to your water pipe.
Yeah, I mean, that explains the long lines. They're all there for the bidets.
Obviously.
Yeah.
You need it. Okay, last one, Becca. You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, would you rather be a reverse centaur, which is probably the horse head on top,
Yeah.
or a reverse mermaid, which is fish on top?
Oh no. So I really want you to answer this one too.
No.
I would definitely pick the reverse centaur just because it reminds me of that BoJack Horseman show. I've
Oh,
never
yeah.
seen that show, but like I know that the characters have like animal heads.
Mm-hmm.
So for some reason I can accept that more than like a SpongeBob character.
That's what I was thinking too, is being a half mermaid on top. That would feel like being in SpongeBob. So I'm gonna I would go with the reverse centaur too.
Yeah. Yeah, just be a half horse. I mean, you'd have hair, like a really gorgeous mane.
Super majestic.
Yeah, like I'd be so down to be half horse. Like that's totally cool. You might know that there is a whole list on Wikipedia of all the Barbie movies ever made,
Mermaid.
and there are a lot. There
There
are
are a
a
lot.
lot of Barbie movies. So we decided to make a very unnecessary list of our top 5 Barbie movies each. And then what we're going to do is have a discussion to try and find out what the top 3 Barbie movies are of all time so
Of all
you
time.
guys can go watch them yourselves.
You gotta watch them. It'll change your life. Yeah, it's meant to bring back the days of innocence and simpler times that we are all kind of needing right now. So let's talk about this unnecessary list of top 5. All right,
Yeah.
Becca, what was your number 5?
My 5th favorite Barbie movie, and I know some of you that know Barbie are gonna be very disappointed in me, but my 5th favorite Barbie movie is Barbie as Rapunzel.
Such a classic.
So I really like that one, but I have an issue with that really weird looking weasel. And
Oh yeah.
I don't know what he is, a ferret, a weasel, probably a weasel. But I had some issues with him. I don't like how he looks. He's creepy.
Oh, but it's a pretty magical movie. I feel like the way that you see her hair grow and the paintings, just all around, it's very warm, fuzzy
Yes.
feelings.
I love her magic paintbrush. That was the best part.
That was the best part.
Yeah.
So my number 5 is Barbie in Swan Lake. Now, this is in my top 5 because Becca and I grew up trying to recreate these dances. And I mean, in actuality, they actually studied ballerinas and their movements in order to create the dances in the movie with their, at the time, really innovative animation. And so there's just some really sweet memories tied up with trying to do the little swan dance that they do, or like
Yeah, I remember the little line dance that the little guys did. We tried to do that all the time.
Yeah, we tried to learn and recreate some of those dances. Let me tell you, we are not dancers, so it probably looked real bad in retrospect. But it brought a lot of joy to these little girls.
My number 4 is the 12 Dancing Princesses.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, I included that in my list because I just think that's such a classic story of the 12 Dancing Princesses. And I really like how it's about being sisters and, you know, following your dreams.
It is a really sweet story. My number 4 is actually Rapunzel, which was your number 5. So close in the rankings there.
Yeah.
It had to make it into the top 5 somewhere.
Yeah, that probably means it won't be in our top 3 though at this rate.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, sorry guys.
That's okay. All right, moving on to number 3.
So we just knew each other so well that we both put the same one for number 3. And that one is The Princess and the Pauper, which
Yes.
is a really, really good Barbie film. And I think that'll probably end up being number 3 on our list at this rate. But
yes, if not number 1.
if not,
we agreed on it.
I remember, Grace, when this movie came out, we would take our Barbie dolls and reenact the whole film with our Barbie dolls.
Movie.
You would always be the brown-haired Barbie. I think her name was Erica, and I'd be Annalise, the blonde-haired princess.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
Yeah, and so we'd reenact it, and then we'd, like, sing the songs. I just remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
A child has to remember all of the music and all the plot lines, and such a good time.
I can imagine that our parents were just like, when are they gonna shut up? Because we're just like, Grace would be like, Bekah, you're singing it wrong. Like, try again. And I'd be like, okay. You know, and we would just go back and forth like that. And I'm sure our parents were downstairs like, can they just, like, play quietly?
Right.
Like,
anyways. We love this movie. Obviously, you can tell from this conversation that growing up, I was the bossy one. Obviously, that's part of also being the firstborn. But we definitely had an interesting relationship as little tykes. I was not necessarily the best sister.
Grace, I wasn't either. Like,
but over time, obviously, you can tell now those things have healed.
Yeah. Yeah, like now I'm the bossy one.
What are you talking about? No. I don't think that's true.
All right, Grace, what was your number 2 Barbie movie?
I said my number 2 was The Island Princess. So that is when I say newer, it's probably still in the last like 10 years. Wow, that dates us. But it's really cute in just the sense that this gal was stranded on an island. I feel like the plot's really not all that original, but the music is really sweet. And I really like the animal characters in it. You have the little elephant who's adorable, and the peacock, and the red panda, I think. Is that what he is?
Yeah.
So it's just a really fun story that brings in a lot more animal characters.
Yeah, that one's definitely on my honorable mention list.
Honorable mentions.
Yeah, I just didn't have enough room for all my favorite ones, but I love that one.
I love it.
Did I tell you? So I haven't seen that movie since last time we watched it together. Because we used to be neighbors, so we would like watch Barbie movies together all the time.
Oh yes, of course.
So we watched The Island Princess. We'd sing along to it and everything. That was maybe a year ago at this point. I actually had a dream last week.
Oh no.
You were singing one of the songs from that movie.
Oh no.
It was the one, like, I need to know the answers. I need to find my way.
Sounds like you're having some deep psychological processing about where your sister is at in her life and exploring what's going on.
Are you psychoanalyzing me? I feel so invaded right now.
Like, no. It's my husband's becoming a psychologist, so I'm just picking up on cues. It's fine.
You know, it's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, but yeah, that song. And I was like, I didn't even know I remembered all the words, but my
Apparently
subconscious,
you did.
yeah, like my brain knew the whole thing. And I was like, wow. I woke up and I was just like, I'm so impressed with my brain today. Yeah.
But I digress. We did not hear what your number 2 is, Becca. What is your
Oh,
number 2
I
Barbie movie?
digress.
I
Oh.
digress. I know.
Oh, geez. I am a sucker for the original Barbie movie, The Nutcracker.
That's a pretty good one. That is the original, the
Yeah.
first.
So yes, I guess the first ever Barbie movie was made in 2001.
All right, here we go.
Number ones.
One. What's your number 1?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay. I really like Barbie and the Pink Shoes.
Mm.
The reason is it's actually pretty funny, and I really like the dude characters in this movie because they're kind of like bumbling and like, they're not stupid, but they're there to help, and they're super sweet, but they're really ridiculous because I remember they just butt heads the whole time.
Oh, yes.
Um, and basically that movie's about Barbie, like finding a magical pink pair of shoes. She dances and goes into this whole different like storybook world basically where she's in all the different ballets, and she
Mm-hmm.
becomes the lead of all these different ballets, like the Swan Lake is in there. There was, oh, I'm trying to remember all the
Carmen.
others.
I
Yeah,
think Carmen was one of them.
Carmen. Yeah, there
But I
there were
don't.
just a whole bunch of different ballets basically, and
Yeah.
I forgot what the whole message was. I think it's just for her to believe in herself more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I just really enjoyed it. It's a good one.
Yeah, it was pretty cute and it was pretty creative in comparison to some of their other ones. My number 1 is Diamond Castle, and I honestly attribute that to the music because I think they did a really good job with the music in this movie. Like, these are songs that I find myself humming or singing when I haven't watched Barbie in years. And I'm like, where did that song come from? And they just did a really good job at demonstrating a relationship between friends and just showing the growth that takes place in your friendship, and also welcoming in other people. So, you know what we have to do now?
Oh no.
We have to make the top 3, Bean. I'm pretty sure, based on this conversation, our number 1 is The Princess and the Pauper.
Yeah, since we both agreed on that, I think that should definitely be number 1. Because if we
Mm-hmm.
can agree on that and it was in our top 3, then it will
Mm-hmm.
probably be in someone else's like top as well. So,
I think so. Okay, so what is our top 2?
oh boy. Oh, this is hard. I agree with a lot of what you had down. I think we should put either the Island Princess or the Diamond Castle as the second one. I just don't know because I like both of them the same. So let's talk this through a little.
Well, okay. What would our number 3 be?
We both had Barbie Rapunzel on our lists.
I know.
That makes me think that should be in there.
At least our number 3.
Yeah. So.
All right. That's what I think. Rapunzel has earned its spot in number 3. So the question is, who is number 2?
Oh.
I think the Island Princess has earned its way to number 2.
Yeah, that one's pretty good. I think they did a great job with the music in both of those, but
Mm-hmm. But I think between the two of us, I want to say the Island Princess is the one that you resonated with more, and I feel like you liked a lot more growing up.
It's because I had a dream about it, Grace.
Obviously. So I think it's a sign that the Island Princess should be in the top 3. So
It's a sign.
you heard it from us first here, people. Our top 3 Barbie movies: Princess and the Pauper, The Island Princess, and Rapunzel. Go watch them on some streaming service or online or whatever. Or if you own them, even better. That's great.
Yeah, even better. Thank you, Mattel, for making these movies for us to enjoy.
Yes.
Thanks, guys, for joining us on our pilot podcast. We hope you tune in next time for GeneSIS. Next time, we'll be talking about new kid syndrome. You know how that goes when you're the new kid in town, you move around a lot, and just about us learning to adapt